Today I'm going to go over what it might look like to have a $20, $200, or even a $2,000 fragrance collection. So starting off with the $20 collection, again, there's a lot of fragrances, but you're going to need one that will work year-round, all situations, all settings. It needs to be versatile, and it needs to cost $20. That's the problem. A lot of $20 fragrances do not have that in their wheelhouse. However, I would go with this. This is Versace The Dreamer. This is a beautiful soapy fragrance. It has a hint of tobacco. The tobacco is not strong. Most people won't even pick it up, but it just adds a little bit of spicy, a little bit of intrigue to the fragrance. Great DNA, great projection, great longevity. You're looking at about 8 hours with it. You can get this online for about 20 bucks easily at discounters or even at Amazon. I highly recommend it. It just smells so good. Think the best soapy fragrance out there. It just is so intriguing. It smells clean, fresh. Ladies will love it. It'll make you smell amazing. Again, highly recommend it. So if I was going for a $20 fragrance, this would be the one I'd go with, The Dreamer. Now, if I was going for a $200 fragrance, I need fragrances that will work in different situations. First one I would buy is from Michael Malone. It is Ocean Noir. This is a very versatile fragrance. You can get it for about 80 bucks online or at those perfume manias at your local mall. This is a great versatile fragrance. It has a little bit of aquatic, a little bit of blue vibes to it. It has great depth. It can work daytime, nighttime. This can be your safe dumb reach. Any time of the year, you could rock this fragrance. Again, got 80 bucks online, maybe 90 sometimes. So we're gonna count this as an $80 fragrance. Highly recommend it. Great performance. I actually got 2 compliments the last time I wore this fragrance. Love it so much. This would be the first one I get. Next one I would get is my favorite fragrance, and I've seen it online for about 70 bucks, sometimes 80, sometimes 90. These are discounter fragrances. These are not full retail. But for about 70 bucks, you can get Le Male Parfum. This is a killer fragrance. This is my most complimented fragrance. It's my favorite fragrance. Beautiful iris, beautiful DNA, great classy or sexy vibes, whichever one you're going for. Very versatile. It makes me happy every time I smell it. This is what makes me feel like $1,000,000. If I am down, I'll put this fragrance on. So this would be the next fragrance I get. So right now, we're about that 150, 160 range. Finally, I would want something that would work in the cold weather. And that's the problem. I was looking for a Zara The Most Wanted, but that one costs about 60 bucks online. I did see one place had it for 57, but I never heard of that shop, so I'm not even gonna include it. But if you could get a Zara The Most Wanted, that would probably be my pick. Again, beautiful caramel toffee vibes. It's just great. However, I would go with Gary's Den. At fragrancebuy.ca, you can get this fragrance for around $30 to $40. Again, that will put us under the $200 range, but again, who knows about Le Male Parfum? Who knows about Ocean Noir? It may be 10 bucks more. So I just figured I would go something that was safe. This smells very similar to Dior Homme Parfum. Killer fragrance, great DNA, great projection, great performance, great longevity. Highly recommend this fragrance if you want to just be super classy and something that will work in the super cold weather. This would be my pick. Now for the $2,000 fragrance collection, this is where it could get really fun. So like for example, I would start with the 4 seasons. So my favorite winter fragrance is this. This is Symphonium from Xerjoff. This costs about $200 online, and that gets you 100 mil. Now this is the 50 mil. Back in the day, this was $220 for a 50 mil, but I saw Joma Shop have a 100 mil for $180. I'm gonna count $200 for a 100 mil. Highly recommend this. I think this is the best winter fragrance. Beautiful chocolate, beautiful sweetness, great performance, about 8 hours with my skin. Love it so much. So Symphonium would be my first pick. Next, I would go with an amazing spring fragrance, and I would go with Louis Vuitton Lovers. This is a brand new fragrance from Louis Vuitton. Highly recommend it. It has a little bit of green, a little bit of woody vibes to it. Beautiful sweetness. To dry down, the sweetness takes over. It projects, it performs, it lasts a long time. I wore this, I got about maybe 8 to 10 hours of performance with this fragrance. Crazy DNA. Love it so much. Highly recommend it. So from Louis Vuitton, I would go with Lovers. This costs about $330 online retail. Maybe you can find it cheaper. I don't know that you can at the moment. So we're looking at about 530 bucks at the moment. Now for the summer, my favorite fragrance this year has been this one. This is Moncler Sunrise Pour Homme. This is a beautiful fragrance, costs about $120. Sometimes I've seen it less. I actually paid only $90 for this fragrance, this 100 mil, when I was in London. Killer fragrance. I'm gonna count this as a $100 fragrance. That puts us at what, $630? Killer DNA, it's very subtle, it works, it lasts. I've gotten 12 hours with this fragrance. I usually get around the 10-hour mark with this fragrance, but it isn't a heavy choker out fragrance. This is more of a, and I wouldn't say intimate, like you have to be really close, but more like conversational projection. It's great, great DNA. It's a killer DNA, great compliment puller. Highly recommend Moncler Sunrise Pour Homme. Then for the fall, I would go with a beautiful coffee fragrance. There's so many options you could go with. I'm gonna pick Amore Cafe. This is a cinnamon caramel macchiato fragrance in a bottle. It smells amazing. Great performance, great longevity. The sweetness is just perfection. It'll get the job done. It'll blast away the cold. You're gonna have to pay about 120 bucks online for this fragrance, and that's probably for the big boy. This is the only one I could get at the time, the 75 ml, I believe this is. Great DNA, highly recommend it. We're probably looking about 150, 120 with this. So we'll discount the 120. So that puts us at what, 750, I believe, if my math is correct. Hopefully the math budget is correct. But again, I got all 4 seasons now covered. Now, once we're done with the 4 seasons, we got everything covered and we're at 750. That gives us $1,250 left. Now I can get specialty fragrances. So let's say I want the best, like, black tie fragrance. You could pay about $200 easily, get a beautiful Xerjoff, get a beautiful PDM, like Altier would be a good one. Again, at Fragrance Nevea, usually you can get around that 200, 220 range. If I wanted Xerjoff, I'd probably go with Naxos. I've seen that one for about 240, 180 online, and it fluctuates. It always depends on where we're at in the season. If it's summertime, you can get winter fragrances cheaper. Wintertime, summer fragrances cheaper. So you would kind of like balance it that way to try and get as many fragrances as you can with that budget. On top of that, I would get more specialty fragrances like Torino 22. It's one of my favorite Xerjoff fragrances. I've seen it online for 150. Might be closer to 180, 200, but I've seen places sell it for 150. Again, killer spicy fragrance, very versatile, smells incredible, great performance, great longevity. After that, I would get like a gem fragrance and I'd get a dirt cheapy one. So you can get like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. I've seen that one for about 30 bucks online. You can go Nautica Voyage, it's like 20 bucks online. You can go the Dreamer from Versace. There's just so many different fragrances. You want something that isn't gonna choke people out, isn't gonna project, but if anyone comes around you, you'll smell fresh and clean. So I get that fragrance. And then after that, I would get like 2 fragrances that I just love. Something that makes me feel amazing. Something that makes me pop my chest out and go, I smell phenomenal. And again, right now, I would argue we have probably close to $1,000 left. So we're only about 1,000 bucks in and we have pretty much every situation covered. So then after that, do I want something spectacular? Do I want something like a 6th Floor by Xerjoff? Do I want something like an S-Boy by Draco? Again, that's a beautiful mango fragrance. It's not very intricate and you're gonna pay about $200, $300 for this fragrance, but the ladies love it. Great projection, great performance, lasts a long time, and it just gets compliments. Or do I want to go more like a Carolina Herrera Mystery Tobacco? There's one of the best vanilla tobacco fragrances on the market. It would fill my fall, my winter, and maybe even my spring with that fragrance, and I could use that instead of the other fragrances that I picked. So now I can have a little bit more versatility and I'm not just wearing one fragrance. So once you get to the $2,000 range, you can really mix and match and add tons of different fragrances to kind of specialize what you want and not be limited to your budget. And there you go. That's a $20, a $200, and a $2,000 fragrance collection in my mind. What would you do? What would you think? Did I pick the wrong fragrances? Did I do it the wrong way? What are your thoughts? Comment down below. Love reading your comments, and thanks for following the channel. I love having this channel. I love doing this. It's so much fun talking to people and helping people pick the right fragrances. So as always, this is Nubs Fragrance. Talk to you soon.